findings, some new information that we are getting. All of a sudden, out of the blue, you're starting to have these unusual symptoms, shortness of breath and fevers and malaise and fatigue. And on a positive note, I want to talk about things that we can do, take action on right now, and make this something that is not scary at all. The hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which is really strong in burning down that virus once it gets into the stomach. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Whole Wellness Method video. I am Lida Sportel at the upcoming lidashealing.com and founder of the Whole Wellness Method. And in this video, I want to continue our discussion on getting through the coronavirus crisis with you. And I want to talk to you about some new findings, some new information that we are getting, and some interesting information that we're getting that might make you reconsider some things that you're doing. And so we'll see where that discussion takes us. What I want to start with is that they're now saying that one of the symptoms, early symptoms of the coronavirus infection is a loss of sense of smell. So be aware of that. But what I want to talk about today is the GI, gastrointestinal route of infection, which means that so far we've been mainly focusing on the respiratory route of infection, which means that the virus is infecting us mainly through the respiratory tract. Now we are seeing more and more that it can also go through the GI tract, through the digestive system. And it is important to talk about it because now the data is showing that actually the cases that have initial symptoms, digestive symptoms like diarrhea, cramping, stomach aches, and then they end up having the fevers and the coughing and all the symptoms that are related to the coronavirus, those cases might be a little more severe than if it didn't start with the digestive symptoms. So again, all this is fresh data, so I can't, for sure speak to how severe one is versus the other. But it is alarming to hear that there's another route of transmission of the virus, and that if you are starting to have those unusual digestive symptoms, this is not if you've been struggling with diarrhea or stomach aches for a while. This is if all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're starting to have these unusual symptoms, then you do want to pay some attention to this a little bit faster than thinking, oh, this is just digestive. It has nothing to do with the typical symptoms of, shortness of breath and fevers and malaise and fatigue and all the things that we think have to do with the flu. And another thing they've been reporting is loss of appetite. So if any of those things are happening to you or any of your loved ones, just know that that's a possibility. That's what they're saying right now is another set of symptoms. So, but on a positive note, I want to talk about things that we can do, because the data can be scary, can be concerning. The virus is mutating. There's all these scary things going on. I want to offer you what we can do, what is not scary, what is in our hands to really take action on right now and make this something that is not scary at all. So let's talk more about the digestive route of how the virus is getting in. And once it hits the stomach, I've talked about that before. In the stomach, we have the hydrochloric acid, HCl, which is acid. So it burns. So it is meant to burn things that we eat in our food that are not good for us, parasites, bacteria, viruses. So the hydrochloric acid that we have in our stomach is meant to burn the virus and not allow it to go further down into the small intestine or the colon, and therefore block it from ever entering into our bloodstream and ever entering into our lungs. The problem is a lot of us struggle with low HCl. It's more common than we even think about, and in functional medicine and in the videos I do on that end of the digestive system in general, I talk a lot about the symptoms of low HCl. And interestingly, a lot of people who have low HCl also have symptoms of acid reflux, of GERD, of heartburn, and thinking that that is excessive acid, which is kind of counterintuitive in this situation. So I don't want to go off on this topic because that is a whole video in itself. What I do want to talk to you about is perhaps doing a little bit of research and seeing if you are on a proton pump inhibitor, PPI, to suppress that stomach acid that is making you have the heartburn. I want you to look into it a little bit further, because at this time, by suppressing even the little bit of hydrochloric acid that you have, you're really making yourself more vulnerable to infections and to this virus in particular right now. So when you are having things like acid reflux, it's actually a sign of low HCl, or though you feel the acid. The reason you're feeling the acid is because there's a mix-up there with the valve, and it's opening when it shouldn't be opening, and now you're feeling the HCl from the stomach. But actually, the truth is, the HCl is low in the stomach. And a lot of that has been linked with infections like H. pylori infection. So I really want to keep it simple in this video, and I do have the tendency to go deeper into all these things because I want to offer you everything I know, but I know that also it's important to keep it simple. So just to clarify, if you are on a proton pump inhibitor, a PPI, or any of the acid blocking medications, you might want to talk to your doctor and do your research and look into what I'm discussing. Dr. Michael Murray is also talking about this in his article, and he's saying that they have proven in the past with MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, that when they were taking proton pump inhibitors to lower that stomach acid, and they were infected with the virus, it made the disease more lethal than if they were not on those medications. So I don't want to make this discussion about medications because I'm not offering any medical advice. I just want to raise awareness and tell you that perhaps it's not the time to be lowering hydrochloric acid, which is your really first line of defense when it comes to your digestive tract. Because once something is going into the stomach and there is a viral particle in what you're eating, what is going to kill it if you don't have enough hydrochloric acid? And again, the proton pump inhibitors are lowering that hydrochloric acid. H. pylori is lowering that hydrochloric acid. So you might want to also look a little bit deeper into H. pylori. And with my clients, we do testing. We do a stool testing called the GI map, and we use that to really see if there's that infection there and if there is low HCl, and then we have a whole protocol that we do for that. So that's another thing you might want to consider. But for the purposes of this particular situation we're dealing with right now, which is more of an immediate crisis and not like a chronic health problem of acid reflux, this is an acute situation we're dealing with. Think about that perspective of, should I be increasing HCl right now or decreasing it? So one of the suggestions that I give to clients once we've tested and we know that's the right thing to do is to take HCl, is to take a supplement that has HCl in it to really make sure that you're really boosting the acid, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which is really strong in burning down that virus once it gets into the stomach. So that's one suggestion. And then in the next video, I want to talk to you about once now the food goes further down into the small intestine, why does it matter if you have enough digestive enzymes? Those digestive enzymes are being produced by the pancreas. So we really need to have enough pancreatic enzymes, digestive enzymes. So that's what I want to share with you in the next video. And you might find it really interesting, some of the information that I'll be giving you about how to also make sure or try to at least break down the virus a little bit faster. So we'll talk about how enzymes can help us break down the virus and those spikes that the virus has on its surface that are critical. Those spikes are critical to enter into our cells. So if we break down those spikes, possibly we're lessening the probabilities of the virus entering into our cells. So that's what I will be talking in the next video. In the meantime, I'm leaving you in whole wellness. Bye-bye.